Violations may subject clubs to the loss of draft choices and or fines. That's the line that the NFL's own memo, broken by Tom Pelissero. A team can now lose a draft pick over a handshake, not a hit, not a holdout, a whispered deal that nobody wrote down. In the same day, the league and the union gutted the fine system. Watch. 3 violations in one season. Hip drop, horse collar, launching, blindside block, hit on a defenseless player, and you're suspended a game. 1 violation, you get your fine money back in full. Every player starts 2026 clean, and here's the part that I love. The coach has to sit in that meeting with the league when his guy is approaching the line. Clubs with excessive violations pay more. I'm going to put the joint statement on the screen dated August 26, and then I'm going to pull the memo language about the draft picks word for word. So the NFL, they just wrote down a rule before the loophole turned into a scandal. And I wish Washington worked like that, because it doesn't. We've got midterm elections coming up, control of Congress on the line, and markets hate uncertainty. Between now and November, uncertainty breeds volatility, and this could be the most volatile stretch for the stock market and economy we've seen in years. So here is the good news. Noble Gold Investments spent over a decade helping everyday Americans protect their wealth with precious metals. Physical gold and silver hedge that volatility, and they make it simple, easy, and safe. Go to nextnewsgold.com or call Noble Gold at 877-646-5347. That's the number you see on your screen right there. And for America's 250th birthday, mention my name and get a 10-ounce silver bar free when you open a new qualified account. Don't let Election Day arrive without a plan. Now back to that memo, right? Ron Rivera is now in the pool of former players who oversee on-field discipline hearings. 9 seasons as a player, years as a head coach. That man knows what a coach technique looks like versus a mistake. Pelissero posted both documents. I'm going to pull up the tweets right now. The NFL and the NFLPA have agreed to overhaul the fines system for on-field acts by players that violate the league's health and safety rules, emphasizing punishment for repeat offenders while relieving the financial burden on players for single infractions. So the joint statement spells it out: 3 violations in a season, and you're suspended. The clubs eat the penalties too. Ron Rivera is now sitting on the appeals hearing. The joint statement: clubs with excessive health and safety rule violations will also face increased financial penalties. Ron Rivera has been added to the pool of former players who oversee hearings for the on-field discipline. Here is the joint statement from the NFL and the NFLPA. Dated August 26. For the last several months, the NFL and NFL Players Association have worked together to update the league's on-field accountability system. Clubs were briefed on the changes at today's league meeting in Atlanta, while player leadership was briefed and voted on the changes at a board of player representatives meeting on Tuesday. The goal is simple: make the game safer by focusing discipline on the techniques most likely to result in player injury rather than players who make isolated mistakes during competition. You can see the list right there. Greater emphasis on health and safety rule violations. Players who commit 3 offenses in any of these categories during a season will be suspended for 1 game. Players who commit only 1 violation will receive 50% of their fine back at the end of the season. While violations in these categories will carry forward to subsequent seasons, all players will begin 2026 with a clean slate. Players who also have a clearer and faster path to reducing the impact of prior offenses than under the previous system. So now the league turns to something else entirely. A memo just went out to all 32 clubs about players heading back to college football, and it comes with a warning. The NFL is sending a memo to clubs outlining rules that apply to newly eligible players who return to college football, and warning teams they're prohibited from any agreements or understandings about the player's future or potential return. So this is the notice: as we approach the 53-player roster reduction, we write to remind clubs of the NFL rules governing player eligibility under NFL collective bargaining agreement and the Constitution and bylaws. Recent litigation concerning NCAA eligibility rules has led certain players who sign NFL player contracts for the 2026 season to seek return to collegiate football this season. Although questions concerning college eligibility are matters for the NCAA and the courts, the following NFL rules may apply to these situations. A player who signed an NFL player contract that is subsequently terminated by the NFL club may return to college football subject to applicable NCAA eligibility rules. Such a player may practice and play football with another NFL club by signing an NFL player contract or with another professional or amateur football league. Any offset of compensation previously paid or guaranteed to the player will be governed by the terms of the applicable NFL player contract. So, lose a player, lose a draft pick, and the general manager can get suspended right along with it. Violations may subject clubs to the loss of draft choices and or fines, and club personnel may also be subject to fines or suspension. So players can return to college if cut. Those players can't play in the NFL in 2026, and no advance deals to sign them in 2027 is allowed. So a cut player can go back to college, cannot play in the NFL in 2026, and no club may hold any undisclosed understanding about signing him in 2027. The league didn't outlaw the roster move, it outlawed the secret. And that's the right call, and it's the one that nobody expected them to make. So enforce it. That's the whole thing. The NFL and the NFLPA sat down for months and came out with something that actually protects the guy taking the hit and closes the hotel lobby loophole before it became a scandal. Two sides that fight about everything. Notice how strange it feels? It shouldn't. Tom Pelissero broke both stories, and he'll break the first one too. They get tested. So I want to see a club actually lose a pick because a rule nobody enforces is worse than no rule at all. Drop a comment below. Yes or no, does the league ever take a draft pick over one of these? Share this with a guy in your family who screams at the TV every Sunday. He needs to see the memo. And there's more I couldn't fit in here because Pelissero got that memo because somebody inside handed it to him. That's how real reporting works, and it's exactly how we work the White House. Text White House to 844-840-4963, and our credential press pool sends you the file from inside the building every night, including the reporting that this broadcast couldn't carry. Reading it is step one, and text Signal to that same number and list in the next news Signal Corps, and you get an assignment instead of an article. Everybody working off the same board, so come get in with us tonight.